Hi, it's Brian and Janet Sauder.
Coming to you live from Manheim, Pennsylvania.
We're going to be missing you at this year's conference, so we wanted to take some time just to share our hearts with you.
Yesterday, I was going for some groceries, or messages, as some of you would say, and I was in the international aisle at the local grocery store. And I was thinking of many of you as just remembering places and cuisine and how I got to, where I would have eaten some of the food. And as I traveled on through the store, I realized that the international aisle of the grocery store was very well stocked. The shelves were pretty full. But unlike some of the other shelves throughout the store, they were at different stages of varying emptiness. And I thought, it's some of that is because that would be the local cuisine or the local food that it has the highest demand on in our area. And it was like, it's kind of how it is. If we kind of have a small picture, our lives have all been disrupted at some point. Some of you much greater than others, and some of just the normal routine has kind of been disrupted. But I felt like if we would pull back from the micro to a larger view and ask God to give us a bird's eye view, we would have a different picture. Isaiah 43, starting in verse 17. I called forth a mighty army of Egypt with all of its chariots and horses. I drew them beneath the waves, and they drowned, and their lives snuffed out like smoldering candle wick. And probably a lot of you have even prayed this about God doing a new thing. But just thinking back of some of our Bible stories that we read or grew up with as children, and this next verse kind of caught my attention. But forget all of that. It's nothing compared to what I'm going to do. For I'm about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in dry wasteland. The wild animals in the field will thank me, the jackals and the owls too. And so this is kind of just been thinking a little bit what's been happening in the world. And like Brian said, been missing all of you too, and just realizing that things are not normal. They're not as they have been. And we've all probably have had our lives disrupted to some extent.
I was recently reminded by the Lord of the story from 1 Kings chapter 18, where Elijah was praying for rain. And he was praying with all of his heart, and he sent his servant out to look if there was clouds in the sky to see if the rain was coming, but none was there. And the next time, and the third time, and the fourth time, he keeps praying, but he sent his servant out again. Finally, on the seventh time, the servant came back and said, I saw a cloud on the horizon, just the size of a man's hand. And it was the symbol that the tide had shifted, that the rain was coming. And literally, very shortly, there was a downpour of rain, and the famine was ended. And it just reminded me so much of what prophetically I feel like the Lord is where we're at right now, because I know a lot of us have been praying and seeking the Lord for the pandemic and the crisis, but also for revival and awakening for the kingdom of God to come. And I just so much believe that that's what is happening. There is a cloud on the horizon. It is coming. The kingdom of God is coming. And I think, sometimes, so many times when it seems like things are going wrong, God is up to something. And that's what we're looking for.
So as you travel through the international aisle at your grocery store, or you go past the McDonald's or something, let's remember just to pray for each other, to remember to stay strong in the faith and be encouraged that God is up to something big.